Elon Musk announcing on Twitter he plans to donate $30 million to Cameron County. $10 million will go towards Brownsville revitalization. The other $20 million to Cameron County schools. CBS 4's Iris Karami spoke with schools who say this is exciting news, but they do want to hear more.
I think the exciting part is that Mr. Musk recognizes how important it is to invest in public education.
Dr. Alicia Noyola oversees Harlingen CISD and sees Musk's decision as a no-brainer.
Because in investing in public education, you're really investing in the future of not just our community, but really our world.
Brownsville Mayor Trey Mendez says that they've been planning downtown's restoration for years, and a donation like this could speed up the process of making Brownsville a destination site.
Space exploration and those types of things were things that were in books, things that they saw on TV, but it now is a reality here in our own background.
Point Isabel ISD literally has SpaceX in their backyard and says they have not yet heard from Musk himself. BISD Superintendent Rene Gutierrez says SpaceX recently asked multiple Cameron County schools to start sending students over for field trips.
2 weeks ago, several superintendents from Cameron County, we visited to SpaceX. They gave us a tour, and part of that tour and our discussions with personnel from SpaceX was about us starting to send students over there to SpaceX so that they can be exposed to their facilities, but also to the different careers that they have there.
Elon Musk said in a tweet he is also looking to hire new employees at his facilities. HCISD and BISD says students have spent time at the UTRGV Stargate facilities and expressed interest in pursuing careers in STEM since SpaceX landed in Boca Chica.
We actually have 2 elementary STEM academies. We have 2 middle school programs that focus on science, technology, engineering, and math. And then we have our early college high school, which has a focus on engineering and science.
Though there has been no official contact or plans made, county schools and cities are looking forward to further news. Working for you, I'm Iris Karami.
Boomshakalaka. Esos Mexicanos y sus breakfast tacos. Harlingen residents are able to grade city services online in Brownsville, Texas. And where did all that Elon money FERIA go? It is Wednesday, July 13th, 7:04 a.m. This is Good Morning Brownsville, and my name is Frankie Olivo. Now, again, I apologize. The Good Morning Brownsville's award-winning segment, the weather. I have nothing for you except for I know none of us are moving our thermostat, such as the recommendations by ERCOT. It is hot. Stay in. Enjoy the shade as much as possible. If not, go out to the island. We got some remarkable images from the James Webb Telescope a few days ago, and the interesting thing was that it does seem as if there is life out there. This telescope was able to pretty much show us what a billion light years away looks like. It's kind of hard to comprehend, but you and I can agree that these images are stunning. They're breathtaking, and that leads us to question: Is there life? Is there life out there? This whole thing with Elon Musk and SpaceX trying to get us to Mars. Could we coexist in the outside world? Is this something that is inevitable, and we are going to see other forms of life in outer space? Only time will tell. But the interesting thing, look how beautiful these pictures are. Look how clear they are. And it got me thinking, hey, wouldn't these pictures be great at, a bank? It seems as if whenever, they're always, calling for details, and they release the mugshot, and the pixels are horrible. Like, what the heck? And then we get these beautiful images from the James Webb Telescope, and man, they're clear as day. You can see the fine detail and no pixels. It's not hard to decipher. And again, these are objects, but at the same time, it got us thinking, wouldn't it be nice? Wouldn't it be nice to be able to have images and pictures in which one could depict? If we're able to see millions of miles of galaxies away. We can't get our security camera footage ready. We have a problem. Now, Texas Hold'em took and blew up ever since I was in high school, and our downtime was playing poker. And it seems to be, every person's dream. We hear of stories where individuals drop everything that they're doing, put their life on hold, and pursue Vegas. Why? Because that is where you can either make it rich or get broke. And we have seen many individuals have pursued just that. Well, the citizens of Brownsville, I have a story for you. Let's talk about Leo Zamaripa, who at one time was an offensive lineman coach and a softball coach for the Cowboys. The Porter Cowboys did employ the services of Mr. Zamaripa, who he himself is an athlete, a great athlete. And one thing that we saw from him was that he did have a passion, and that passion turned out to be poker. Mr. Zamaripa did take part in the 53rd annual World Series of Poker. I'm proud to say that he placed 969th out of over 8,600 participants. Mr. Zamaripa was able to bring home $17,000 for 4 days of work. So again, very, very impressive for Mr. Zamaripa. He has been stating that he is doing something that he loves, putting Brownsville on the map, and bringing good attention to this much needed city. So we applaud individuals such as Mr. Zamaripa and those who put everything on hold to chase their dream. As we all know, we only have a small window of opportunity within our lives. And Mr. Zamaripa took it and ran. We wish him the best. We follow him as much as possible whenever he does post that he's in Vegas. But it's great to see an individual who's living out his dream and is actually doing something that he loves. We all wish that we could be in this position to pursue our goals and dreams. And it's a beautiful thing to see a Brownsville resident doing just that. Now, we all could agree, we love our breakfast tacos. It is not a day where we do not pass by Stripes and we see, people picking up tacos. It's become it's become customary. It has become a thing that we do in the mornings. Sometimes we go and pick up tacos for our colleagues, our family. Instead of cooking, hey, get a breakfast taco. Well, the First Lady, Jill Biden, did come out in the news. She was in San Antonio on Monday, and she did speak at a function, at a rally, and what she says, wasn't the very best. She did talk about how, and I don't feel as if these individuals are racist. I do feel as if they have a lapse in knowing the needs, the wants, the concerns of other people around them. And what the first lady did state was she tried to make comparisons. Oh, like individuals that live in New York that eat at bodegas. Bodegas are kind of like our drive-throughs. Well, there's like a bodega in every corner. They sell. It's like a mercado. It's like a small supermercado. She didn't even call it bodegas. The first lady did state that. She did state that Mexicans are unique as breakfast tacos. And, we as Mexicans, we've heard a lot worse, and I'm not going to repeat it, but we have heard a lot more offensive acronyms, names given to us. And many people were outraged. They're saying, breakfast tacos? What are you talking about? We're people. We make up 20% of the United States' population. You're comparing us to breakfast tacos? Now, again, do I think that these individuals are racist? Do they have hate? No. I think that they have been surrounded too much around white people, and they don't know the customaries of minorities, and they don't know how to talk about other minorities or other ethnic groups. Why? Because they're so rich and they live a crazy life that they're not really aware of what us poor breakfast beaners are doing. But nonetheless, do I think that these individuals are racist? No, but they're not in tune. They're not aware of our culture. They're not aware of things that are wrong. Like to them, it's like, oh, what? I said a breakfast taco, big deal. They're so entitled and they're so white and they're so privileged that they have no concept of reality of what sounds right and what doesn't. And my question on the page was, what would have happened if it was a Republican? And here we have President Trump, who during Cinco de Mayo he got a breakfast taco bowl, and every the more north you go, of course, out of Brownsville, out of Texas, we see how the tacos and the enchiladas and even the carne asadas, they all have their different concept and they're all Americanized, so to speak. But what would have happened? And again, has President Trump called out individuals? Yes, he has. It seems as if all the presidents have done during their previous tenures in some sort of shape or fashion. But what would have happened if a Republican would have said, all these Mexicans and their breakfast tacos? Wouldn't we have categorized them as being racist? Wouldn't we have said, haha, you see, they are insensitive. They are not in tune with our culture. And they compare us to breakfast, to food. How insensitive. Am I right? Are we giving the First Lady a free pass, a hall pass, and saying, you know what? I didn't take that in a bad way. That wasn't derogatory. She didn't mean by that. She's got nothing but love for one of the largest minority groups in the United States, which it is projected within the next 20 to 40 years are going to be closer to 35, closer to 40%. We do reproduce at a large rate, no pun intended. But are we giving the First Lady a hall pass and saying that Mexicans or Mexicanos, they're just breakfast tacos? They're just insignificant. Are we just giving her a hall pass because she's a Democrat? If she was a Republican, would we have say, oh, esta vieja, this white lady, you see, that's why you should side with Democrats, because those Republicans are racist. It doesn't seem that way. It seems as if, oops, she misspoke. She got her tongue tied and it came out. Nonetheless, you and I can agree that if this was on the other side, if this was a Republican, we will be wanting to lynch that individual and claiming that they are insensitive and that they are racist. Ever since the city of Harlingen elected its first city mayor, we have seen the wheels turn at a very rapid pace. Now, one could understand that a trailblazer such as Norma Sepulveda, who recently won mayor for the city of Harlingen, we could see why she has all this momentum, and she brings with her all this energy of fresh ideas, innovative ideas, and things she wants to incorporate within the city. And while it is in the honeymoon stage, we can understand why these elected officials get excited and say, you know what, I will be doing town halls. I will be making sure that your needs, constituents, the reasons why I got elected was because of you, and I'm going to listen to your concerns. What are your concerns? We can see how individuals have that excitement. Here for the city of Brownsville, that's the same sentiment, the same words that we heard from our mayor, from Commissioner Roy de los Santos, who did promise some sort of a town hall trying to keep the citizens up to date. And I got to give credit where credit's due. Mayor Mendez did appear during COVID. He did appear on Brownsville Talk many, many times. Mr. Roy de los Santos, as of late, he's been kind of off the wire. There's been a lot of questions that the citizens have for him. But nonetheless, he has appeared and made himself available to several podcasts out there regarding some sort of information at that time that was going on within the city. But nonetheless, we have seen how elected officials have been shying away from that. Why? Because I just need your vote. I don't need your attention right now, and I don't want your attention. Once I come up for re-election, then that would be a different story. But the citizens of Harlingen have seen a trailblazer, a woman who has put her pedal to the metal. And in the first months since she's been elected, we have seen how she's tried to incorporate her ideas that she promised throughout the campaign. Well, now the citizens of Harlingen are able to grade the city services on an online survey. And we can all agree that the different departments within the city of Brownsville do need some fine tuning, maybe even to reassign certain individuals at the planning and zoning, at the code enforcement. We have heard from business owners that have been passed around, sent this way, that way. You have to go get this signature, that signature, in regards to opening up a business. And we understand, some of the times when these buildings are antiquated, they do need upgrades and electrical plumbing. We understand that. But what we have heard from the residents, entrepreneurs of Brownsville, is that it's difficult. It's very difficult to be able to pass through all these departments and all these guidelines and all these. It's a hurdle. And it would probably be nice if you were the mayor or commissioner and able to jump those hurdles. But nonetheless, the residents of Harlingen are able to grade the services provided to them by the different departments in an online survey. And the importance of this is because data, the mayor, the Harlingen mayor, Ms. Sepulveda, wants to see the numbers. She wants to see how the different departments are functioning. This is kind of like a drop your suggestion. How can we better serve my constituents? What do we need to focus on? Are we lacking in having individuals that are going to make sure that they're going to guide those entrepreneurs, those business owners step by step on, look, this is what you got to do. This is the checklist. Let's get it done. Maybe it's done here in the city of Brownsville, but everything that I hear from my friends is that, no, me hacen la vida de cuadritos. They don't answer their phones. It's hard. It's hard for me to be in code because they ask for too much. Would this be a great way for the citizens of Brownsville to let their elected officials know of how their different departments are functioning? It seems as if whenever, and one thing that we have seen from Mayor Mendez is that Mayor Mendez, whenever he did post about day before yesterday, he did post about the electricity crisis that the state of Texas and probably the United States is going through, and he says, hey, it's the grid's fault. And I like it that he interacts with the individuals. Sometimes it's like a smart aleck remark. It's kind of like, but hey, as long as he's responding, I like it. Keep it coming. And one thing that he does say is like, hey, well, what would you decide? And look, we understand that being elected official is a very, very daunting task. In my respects, I ran for elected office, and my respects for those individuals that do run. They go through hell and a half, not just during the election, but once they're on those seats, they are on the hot seat, so to speak. But they should anticipate that everything in the kitchen sink was going to be thrown at them. I do like that our mayor does ask, hey, what would you suggest? Which is good. And that's the type of dialogue that we need to continue to maintain and foster within the constituents, within the residents. So we encourage our city leaders to look at the likes of Harlingen. And I'm not saying that none of these commissioners, that they don't make themselves available, but it sounds as if they're not really out there within the community. Maybe they are in their district, but I like to have a commissioner, a mayor that is vocal, that is out there, that is leading the way and wanting to provide information. Because at the end of the day, we don't hear anything unless it's from the blogs, Erasmo Castro, and those individuals that are the city's watchdog. But it seems as if we always have to crawl and scratch and pick up tables and make phone calls, daunting phone calls, to find out when individuals have those downtown meetings that nobody knows about, but they exist. There is a lack of communication, and the city of Harlingen has taken a note of that and taken and given the power back to the people and saying, how can we better serve you? What do we need to fix? Do the leaders of Brownsville know what is going on within the different departments? Have they addressed these important issues? Because at the end of the day, the faster we get these entrepreneurs in those in those offices is the faster amount of time they can start paying taxes, generating revenue, and creating an economic boom within our city. So it's very important for our elected officials to take note of what is going on in the city of Brownsville. And hey, let's do a town hall. We want to know about Tenasca. We understand it's an audit. They can't talk about it, they say, but that way we can keep an open dialogue within our community to make sure that we have everything, that everything is on the table. Now, in SpaceX, Boomshakalaka, we were all met with fear whenever we heard that residents from PI, Laguna, and South Padre Island felt a little rumbling, like a shot through the dark. And we found out that it was SpaceX. And the interesting thing was that, what's going to happen? What's going to happen whenever all the engines are at play? We can confirm that right now this was just a test. Now, according to Elon, this was something that was planned. It doesn't seem that way, but you and I can agree that after hearing about what happens, we started to question, is this something that is going to be a common occurrence? Will the residents of South Padre Island, Laguna, and Port Isabel, will they be having to deal with this and the possibility of this being even worse on a daily basis every time SpaceX does these testing? And it is very scary because what's going to happen? What's going to happen is something more severe, more damaging occurs within our area. And again, I am on the fence about this because on one side I do want Brownsville to reap the economic benefits that this has already brought, but at the same time, are we doing a disservice to our local ecosystem, our local habitat, in damaging these things? And as we know, these loud sounds don't just affect the territory; it affects the mammals in the water, and this sends the sounds over millions of couple miles. So it does affect our local ecosystem. And what we have seen from this is how SpaceX would not be at fault. And this is according to a law back in 2013 that protected SpaceX from any liability issues that was caused from the launches. It was signed by, at that time, Governor Perry, with Eddie Lucio III being the co-sponsor. Eddie Lucio III, was a rep. Now at the helm is the Honorable Aaron Gomez, who did win that vacant seat. But nonetheless, you and I are starting to doubt and question and say, hey, what's going to happen if it really, really blows up? Does the surrounding areas have something to worry about? It seems that way. And it was bad timing, of course, because the Commissioner's Court, they are set to vote on pretty much giving SpaceX anything that they wish for. In question is of the county giving up over 5 roads. So we can see SpaceX, they're already trying to expand their area. They are set to build. They have an extra 17 acres, if I'm not mistaken, that they are going to be looking into. So bad timing. Boomshakalaka, the boom heard around Brownsville, Texas, gave us cause for concern, and the Commissioner's Court is set to vote on this next month. Bad timing, if you ask me. Now, where is all that Elon money? We were excited and kind of shocked whenever we heard about his tweet that he posted when he said that he was going to be donating $30 million to Cameron County, 20 to the schools throughout our area, 10 million to the city of Brownsville for the downtown revitalization. And one thing that we all heard was, wow, this is exactly what we need. We need Elon money. We need to beautify the city. We need to make sure that we put lipstick on the pig, so to speak. But nonetheless, it has been a year since that money has gone through, and one being trying to be on top of things. The question remains: how is this money being spent. Board members for the city of the Brownsville Independent School District and the commissioners, they've always talked about transparency. Now, while they've talked about it and done it, are two different matters. But one thing that we can agree on is that we need more accountability. We need more transparency. We, being a democratic society, we want to be part of this process. We feel as if those elected officials choose not to reveal these numbers because maybe, I don't know, maybe there are things to really look into. And once they present this information out to the public, maybe it wouldn't be in their best interest. Maybe it wouldn't be in their best interest to review exactly where the money has gone. BISD did receive $2 million from the Musk Foundation. And one thing that, that did was it elated teachers. And again, BISD, it just approved a 460, let's say, rounded out $500 million budget for this upcoming 22-23 year. And the impressive thing was that once we heard about this money that was being donated and the size and the budget of BISD, many individuals thought, oh, well, this is what we need to make sure that we compensate our teachers. Now, while we are in support that some individuals did receive a good amount, we still are fighting for those that haven't. The ads, they only got a 2% raise, which after taxes, you don't really feel it. We're still fighting for our substitutes, our nurses, administration, those individuals that were kind of left out, and they're still working on it. But BISD supposedly, and the idea behind this was to encourage young students to pick up an interest in engineering, computer software, in professions that would ultimately lead them to success. To possibly one day work at SpaceX. We heard that most of the money, if not all, was going to go to technology, tablets, iPads. And as we all know, we've seen this story before. The thing with technology, the thing with iPads is that they quickly go outdated. By the time they order them, right now there is a freeze because of the chips throughout the world. By the time they order them, that's going to be a backlog order. By the time they receive them, those things are already going to be outdated. They're going to have to pay for updates, things like that. So they're not really going to fulfill and serve their purpose. But nonetheless, have we been told exactly where the money has gone from BISD, from the other RGV schools? Again, my focus is on the city of Brownsville. But have we heard from the board members of presenting accountability, transparency, and saying, look, this is where the ELON money went? Many teachers questioned and said, this is what we need to get a raise, right? Not so fast. What we heard from the board members and from those financial experts was that we have no money. There is no money. But then again, whenever our comadres with her business that want to promote those energy saving mumbo jumbo, we're always quick to give them and their supporters big, handsome contracts. But nonetheless, have we asked our board members, where is that money? Where did that money go to? Should we deserve an answer? I would think so, right? Also, $10 million went to downtown Brownsville. And we have seen how the close relationship that Elon Musk and Mayor Mendez have had. Did Mayor Mendez know that this money was going to be coming in the pipeline? He made it seem as if he didn't. He said that it was a surprise to many people. But nonetheless, we question, where is the $10 million that was given to the citizens of Brownsville for downtown? How is that money being spent? Have we had any sorts of presentation? Can we go online to see where exactly that money is being spent? And again, one could argue and say, oh, you guys, all you want to do is just, create a story. Well, no, we want to be transparent. We want our elected officials to make sure that, hey, everything that they're doing is according to the law. Nothing is unethical. They're doing everything possible to promote and help and support small business owners. Because what we have seen is a total opposite. We have seen how individuals, they prefer that the information don't get out. So we who know, we who are on these boards, we who are on these elected officials. We ourselves can benefit, and our friends. Don't tell those mom and pop shops about it. Right? We have not been seen, and maybe they have. They've been focusing downtown, but nothing, nothing too out there. We saw how an empty lot, across from Wells Fargo was granted $200,000 from the big program. And again, what is the purpose of giving these monies to these empty lots? Shouldn't we focus on, or shouldn't we have focused on those businesses that have been in operation for years? We have many restaurants downtown who have made downtown their home. Were they awarded hundreds of thousands of dollars? Were they given a chance to apply for these grants, for these loans? I haven't heard of any one of them. Also, it comes into question the role that the new BCIC president and CEO will have within this organization. Ms. Corey Pena, she was a member of downtown Brownsville. So she is a coordinator, a project coordinator at one time. And it leads me to question, what role will Ms. Pena have? And I want to start out by congratulating Ms. Pena on this new gig. We wish her all the best. Based on her statement that was released on this story, she did state that, she has new ideas and she wants to, fulfill them, which is all beautiful and everything like that. But the question remains, how will BCIC play a role in the MUST money? Have we had accountability of this money? Ms. Pena will have the daunting task of answering these questions. Now that she is at the helm, we as citizens want to know, where has that money gone to? $2 million, $10 million, $10 million, downtown Brownsville, BCIC was awarded $2 million. Where is that money going to? Where has it gone? And the reasons why we ask is because at one point there was a downtown committee, and at one point, many individuals, they had great ideas. I remember reading in the paper, I want to say maybe about a year ago, there was an idea that there would be a piano downtown and individuals would be able to play music. And I've seen all those YouTube videos of where it becomes a thing. We'll have pianists come and people will come and eat and dance, and it's going to be a vibe downtown. They had ideas back in the day, 4, 5, possibly 6 years ago, of bringing a muralist down. That eventually did come to fruition. But there were many ideas that this downtown committee had at one point. Now, were they given equal access to this money for downtown? Here we see Mayor Mendez, who at that time was a TSC board member, and he was running against the likes of Tony Martinez and Charlie Kabler at this time. And here he was being inquisitive and asking these important questions of, how can we get money? How can we get funds? What are the ideas for downtown Brownsville? But my question remains, did this downtown committee, and here we also have Corey Pena, who is now the new BCIC CEO president. So she is very aware of all this information and everything that is transpiring. But the question remains, did this committee, downtown Brownsville, did they have a stake? Did they have a seat at the table when they found out that this money was donated by MUST? Insider sources are adamant, and they say that once this money was donated, the only people involved were the mayor, Josh Mejia, who at that time was the BCIC president CEO, commissioners. That's it. Not the downtown project manager, not the downtown committee. All these projects that these individuals, for the murals, for the pianos downtown, for the different revitalization projects that they created, they were left in the dark. Again, the only ones that were handling that money is the mayor, commissioners, BCIC, Josh McKee. That's it. Now, accountability. Also, where has that money gone to? Has gone to light posts. They did spend, I don't know, hundreds of thousands of dollars on these new light posts, which came out faulty. It is said that they are not of significant height, where an HEB truck kind of dimmed it a little bit. But nonetheless, you and I can agree. Have we heard about this money? Will we ever know about this money? What we do know for sure is that at one time, Mayor Mendez did request $80,000 for one property, and another property, the Coca-Cola building. He did request $200,000, but it was only after his hand was in the cookie jar that he backtracked on his request. But the question remains: will we ever know what happened with the Elon Musk money? Should there be more accountability from our elected officials to be able to quiet these questions? And again, the more they don't answer these questions about Tenasca, the more they don't answer these questions about the Elon Musk money, the more it leads us to rumble and say, maybe there is something. Because again, the thing that elected officials should do is calm the needs and questions of their constituents. Why? Because it is very important. They took an oath to make sure that they will be going to serve on that board, on those committees, to look out for the best interest of the residents of Brownsville. They did not take an oath to say, I am going to be a self-serving mayor. It is what the mayor needs and wants are first, and then the citizens of Brownsville. It is the needs and wants of me as a BISD board member first, and then the parents of us students. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, whenever they took that oath to do what is in the best interest of you first. I want my elected officials to be 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th in line. I don't expect them to take first dibs, but it seems as if these individuals, and again, nothing criminal, it's immoral, it's unethical, the appearance of impropriety. We hope that these questions are answered. We expect to know and have a full list of accountability. All we want is to be able to say, our elected officials, those in those committees, which I don't believe in those committees. Those committees, puras tranzas. For the most part, there are good people in there. But we all know what everybody has on their mind. And that, my friends, is the rest of the story. Boomshakalaka, the boom heard around the world. It is a bad coincidence that next week the Commissioners Court will vote, and we anticipate that they will unanimously give SpaceX whatever they wanted. That includes closing down roads, and so be it. Esos Mexicanos y sus breakfast tacos. The First Lady did compare Mexicans to breakfast tacos, and you could already imagine the uproar that it caused. But some people are still giving her a hall pass and saying, hey, it was a bad choice of words. But if it was a Republican, will we give them that benefit, or will we say, y'all are racist? Harlingen is giving the power back to its residents, and they are allowed to grade the different city departments. Why? Because the trailblazer, Norma Sepulveda, has promised and campaigned on the idea that she is going to fix all those problems that those residents have. Maybe the citizens of Brownsville, will ask those important questions as well, and demand that our city officials and our city leaders take into account where we do need extra help in. Have we heard from our mayor? Have we heard from? And one thing I got to give props to our mayor. He is, hey, well, what would you do? What do you suggest? That's always a good thing, right? And where is all that Elon money headed? It seems as if BISD and the city of Brownsville, they're not really being transparent as to where that money has gone. Maybe it leads one to believe it, to say maybe it wasn't spent right. Maybe there is, where there's smoke, there's fire. Or maybe they are still waiting and still working on this, and possibly the new CEO president for BCIC, Ms. Cory Peña, maybe that will be her first thing done. in her first 100 days. She'll be more transparent with the community and say, these are all the grants available, and I want all business owners to have equal access to these grants. Would that be the role that Ms. Pena has? I sure damn hope so. It is Wednesday, July 13th, 7:42 a.m. I spazzed out a bit. I got the network in my ear. I do apologize. Thank you so much for your time and your patience. Hope you all have a great hump day. Hope to see you here on Friday. God bless.